Hello, sports fans. How's it going today, y'all? Today I'm at Cox's Park as I tour the parks of Louisville, and we're going to do a three-part um, video. The first, we're going to preview the college football teams in our area, Kentucky, Louisville, and Indiana. And we're going to start out with IU, the defending national champions. Last year they were 16 and 0, went all the way, won the national championship, uh, as most of you all already know that, um, with Kurt Cignetti as the coach. In 2 years, it's really amazing the turnaround he's done in 2 years at IU. Um, 11 and 2 the first year, 16 and 0 the second year. Those are the only 2 years that IU has won 10 games. So it's an amazing turnaround. So that's 27 and 2 in 2 years. And they had in the 60, I think the 64 years before he arrived, they had 13 winning seasons in 64 years. So that tells you something about the turnaround that he has done at IU. It's pretty amazing, actually. So can they repeat that? Can they run it back? Can they have another title run? That'll be tough. So we're going to go game by game, their entire schedule, and look at their opponents. First of all, they start with three non-conference games. They play North Texas, Howard, and Western Kentucky. The first one is North Texas. If you go by what they did last year, you think that might be the toughest non-conference game. North Texas was 12 and 2 last year. They finished in the top 25 in the AP poll. However, they lost their coach to Oklahoma State. They lost most of the key players from that team. Of the 24 starters, now we're including punters and kickers, place kicker and a punter, 22 of those 24 starters will be probably transfers in. Some are from high level D1 schools, some aren't. So they're going to be starting over, and playing IU is not a great place to start over. Neil Brown is their new head coach. Most of y'all probably know the name. He was a coach at West Virginia. He was a former offensive coordinator at UK. So that's a name that is known around this area. So they probably won't throw the ball around the field like they did under the previous coach, Eric Morris, who went to, as I said, went to Oklahoma State. They'll be a little more conservative offensively. They'll run the ball a lot more. But you'll probably be catching them at a good time. Uh, their very first game knew everything for North Texas. They have a quarterback that IU fans should be familiar with. His name's Tavon Jackson. He was one of the quarterbacks in Cignetti's first year at IU. In his career, he has 16 TDs, 14 interceptions. Not great numbers. They have a good running back. Um, White is his last name. He comes to North Texas with Brown from West Virginia. He has 1,600 yards last year. So they'll probably give it to him a lot. And IU knows that. So it's a game IU will win, and probably very comfortably. Second game, Howard. It's an FCS school. They're going to be totally outmatched by IU. I mean, it could be similar to last year when IU beat Indiana State, like 77 to nothing, I think it was. Probably a similar score in that second one. That will be probably a yawner. Third game, Western Kentucky, 9 and 4 last year. This will probably be IU's toughest non-conference game. They have a quarterback, Rodney Tisdale, sophomore, uh, pretty decent quarterback. Last year, Western went to the New Orleans Bowl and beat Southern Miss. they're probably not going to be at IU's level. Um, However, last year, late in the year, they went to LSU and only lost 13-10. If y'all may remember that. Um, Before they play IU, they have to go to Georgia. So they play at Georgia, then at Alabama. Two really difficult weekends back to back for Western Kentucky. IU should win the game, probably at least a couple of touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns in that one. Then the conference starts. Northwestern will come to Indiana in that one. Northwestern 7-6 last year, 4-5 in the Big Ten. They didn't play Indiana a year ago. They lost to Tulane, Oregon, Nebraska, USC, Michigan, Illinois. The teams that they probably should have lost to. Although IU will be playing at home, Northwestern will be playing their first year in their new stadium. It's really beautiful. I've seen some photos of it and some videos of it. Super nice stadium. Their quarterback is Aiden Childs, who has played at Oregon State and Michigan State. So this will be his third stop. They have a good running back in Caleb Komalafe. I think I'm saying that name. He had almost 1,000 yards last year. So he's a serviceable running back. IU will be favored. They should roll in that game. Being the first home game, they'll be juiced up. They'll be ready. Then the next weekend they play Rutgers. 5-7 last year, 2-7 the Big Ten. They will be outmatched by IU. And next game at Northwestern. Now this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. Nebraska rather, at Nebraska, 7-6 last year. Although they're pretty good at home, they played Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl last year. Matt Rhule is the head coach there. He's 19-19 in 3 years. He needs to start winning. That dude's on the hot seat. Nebraska's fans expect a lot better than that. So that could be a difficult road test for IU. It'll be closer than a lot of people think. If you remember last year, one of IU's toughest games was at Iowa. I think they won 15-10. So this could be a game a lot like that maybe if IU doesn't come ready to play. I think IU will win the game. And then they'll play the most talented team on their schedule. This will probably define IU season. They play Ohio State at home. Ohio State probably has the most talent of any team in the Big Ten, even IU. But the most talented teams don't always win. IU beat them last year in the Big Ten title game, 13-10. Then Ohio State lost to Miami of Florida, 24-14. Their only 2 losses of the year. Ohio State, even though the game's going to be in Bloomington, they're going to be jacked up. They're loaded. Julian Sayin, sophomore quarterback, 32 TDs, 8 interceptions a year ago. They have a very talented freshman wide receiver coming in, Chris Henry. September the 12th may be Ohio State's defining game of the year when they play at Texas. So we'll know when they come to Indiana, we'll know a lot about them based on that game at Texas. I think Ohio State will win the game. I think they will be, they've circled that game, that Indiana game on their schedule. They're very talented. I think they will be ready. And it'll be a difficult assignment for IU playing a very talented Ohio State team. Then, probably be IU's most difficult road game of the year. They play at Michigan, 9-4, 7-2, 9-4 in the overall, 7-2 in the Big Ten. Michigan is Michigan. They have a new coach, however, Kyle Whittingham. He's he likes to run the football. He's a long time head coach at Utah. He's 177 and 88 overall. He has a very solid sophomore quarterback, Bryce Underwood. They will have a better running game under Whittingham. He stresses that. So IU's defensive front really needs to be ready for that and up to the challenge. At Michigan will be tough. Uh, I think IU that will be their second loss and probably the only other loss of the year. Then they play three teams in a row that are on paper pretty similar. They play Minnesota, 8-5 last year, 5-4 in the Big Ten. They play an improved USC team. That one's in Bloomington. USC's 9-4, 7-2 overall, 7-2 rather in the Big Ten, and they play at Washington, 9-4 a year ago. Minnesota, they have a decent quarterback. His name's Drake Lindsey. They have two solid wide receivers, Perry Thompson and Noah Jennings. From Auburn and Cincinnati, they have a tight end who came from Oklahoma, Caden Helms. So they have some good transfers in. They have a Tennessee transfer on the offensive line, Bennett Warren. So they went to the transfer portal like almost all teams do. Got a few good quality guys. I don't think Minnesota has enough playmakers actually on offense to beat Indiana. You beat Indiana at Bloomington. They just don't have enough. USC comes to town. When you come across the country, it's always difficult. From coming from LA to Bloomington, USC's going to be athletic at the skilled positions. They always are. They have a quarterback, Jaden Maiava, who's pretty solid. They have a new defensive coordinator, Gary Patterson, who came from, he was a long-time head coach at TCU. So they have an excellent coaching staff at USC, certainly. Trent Mosley is a very heralded freshman punt returner, kickoff returner, speedy guy. IU will need to keep the ball away from him on kickoffs and punt returns. He's a big playmaker. USC has the most. This is what I read this week. They have the most 4 and 5 stars players of any team in the country. They're talented. But IU is so well coached. They'll be ready for USC. IU plays at Washington then. They have a quarterback who's a dual threat, throwing and running, Damon Williams. However, they lost their two best running backs. Washington will have to fill those holes to be able to compete with Indiana. IU finishes the regular season against Purdue. Last year, I think it was like 56-3. Yeah, 56-3. Indiana beat Purdue. Purdue has lost 18 Big Ten games in a row. They're not going to stop that streak this year against Indiana. They're not going to beat Indiana. Who knows if they're going to win any Big Ten games for the first time in a few years. They might, but it's not going to be against IU. So, IU has a new quarterback. His name is Josh Hoover. They got him out of the transfer portal from Texas Christian, TCU. Other teams tried to get him. He chose IU. In his career, he has over 9,600 yards passing. The guy can throw the ball. He has 171 TDs, or 71 TDs, 33 interceptions. That's a lot of interceptions. But Cignetti he'll be coached. And they'll teach him what is a good throw, what is a bad throw. And those interceptions will come down drastically, or Signetti won't play him, to be honest with you. IU lost a couple of really good wide receivers, as you know. Omar Cooper, Elijah Surratt, uh, those guys were drafted. They have their main wide receiver will be probably the transfer from Michigan State, Nick Marshall. He's tall, athletic. He's the guy that they'll be throwing to in key situations, like last year, Surratt. If it was 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, they were going to throw it to him. He was the big play guy. When they needed yardage in big games, they went to him. IU at tight end, they'll be pretty loaded at tight end. Brock Schott from Miami came in the transfer portal. On the offensive line, Joe Bruner from Wisconsin was a major pickup. When I saw Indiana play last year, I thought they're so well coached. They do all the little things right. Uh, the offensive line was very elite. The quarterback won the Heisman Trophy, as you know, Mendoza. But I thought it was based on the system, of course, based on his numbers. But he got those numbers because he had a great offense. He just had a great offensive line, and he had great receivers. And those two guys who were drafted, Cooper and Surratt. Uh, so really, if he threw it to them in the vicinity near them, they were going to catch it. Okay, and sometimes great receivers make a quarterback look better, obviously, in a great offensive line. So everything starts with the offensive line. And Signetti knows that, and he stresses that. And the offensive line and defensive line I think at IU, will always be really good under Signetti because he really stresses that, knows the importance of those things. When they would get a lead late in the game, they ran the ball. And they ran it and ran it and ran it behind that big, strong offensive line that they had. So I think IU will go 10-2 in the regular season. And 10-2 in the Big Ten, if they go 10-2, that'll be probably a playoff team again. That'll be good enough for the playoffs. And that's what I think they'll do. I think they'll be 10-2 and go to the playoffs again. Anyway, that's my wrap up game by game of IU schedule and what I think is going to happen this year. And next up, we will have the University of Louisville in part 2. And we're going to do some research on their opponents. And then we're going to end it all with University of Kentucky after the U of L preview. Y'all have a great day. It's a little bit overcast out here at Cox's Park in the East End on the river. You can probably see Indiana across the way from here. Y'all have a great afternoon. I did this in the afternoon. It rained this morning. It's supposed to rain again this evening. I wanted to get this in before we had any more inclement weather. All right, football season is almost here. Can't wait. One of my favorite times of the year is late August, early September when football gets going. And I hope y'all enjoy everything. And if you like my content, please subscribe and share it. Tell your friends all about it. I'd really appreciate that as we try to grow this channel, KW Sports on YouTube. Thanks a lot, y'all. Have a good day.